Girls don't have ADHD. Girls have ADD and boys have ADHD. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's not true. It's October, which means that it's ADHD Awareness Month, and so all month long I am busting the most common myths and misconceptions surrounding ADHD, and oh boy, do I hear this one a lot. ADHD is the boy version, and ADD is the girl version. And here's the thing, not only is that not true, ADD isn't even a valid diagnosis anymore. While it is true that ADHD tends to impact men at about a rate 2 to 1 to women, ADHD is not a boy thing. Men do tend to get diagnosed in childhood, whereas women tend to get diagnosed when they are older, usually high school, college age, even above. And the reason for that is because ADHD shows up differently in different brains. Now, this myth is really interesting because unpacking it means that we also get to understand a little bit more about ADHD itself. One of the reasons why there's this misconception that ADD is the women's version is because most women present with less hyperactivity and more inattention. And that sort of goes against the stereotype of like the ADHD hyperactive little boy screwing around in the back of the classroom. So there's a couple of things that are true at the same time. The first is that ADHD looks different on everybody. There are women that really struggle with hyperactivity, and there are men that really struggle with inattention. The other thing to keep in mind is that men and women are socialized differently. Good girls sit still. Good girls are quiet, they are focused, they pay attention, they help out at home. Men don't receive that same kind of messaging. And as a result, many women learn to mask their hyperactivity, or their hyperactivity shows up in different places, like in binge eating or compulsive spending. ADD stopped being a diagnosis in 1987. Specifically, in 1987, the DSM-3 combined the symptoms of ADD and ADHD into a single list, and they removed the distinction of with and without hyperactivity. And then, in 1994, they identified 3 subtypes: inattentive type, hyperactive impulsive type, and combined type. What is wild to me is that there are still a lot of clinicians using the term ADD. And also, just to reassure you, if you have a diagnosis of ADD, it doesn't mean that you don't actually have ADHD. It just means that the terminology on your diagnosis is a little outdated. The last thing that I'll say is that trans and non-binary people are frequently left out of the conversation in medical research, and ADHD is no different. We do not have a lot of data on ADHD and its presentations in non-binary and trans individuals, which is something that I'm personally working on changing. If you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, follow for more.